Alrighty, let's get into it. Welcome to the Lost in Talks podcast episode.
You're not sounding energetic.
No, I'm here. Trust me.
No, you're like
Trust
Lost
me.
in Talks.
I'm here. Episode 11 today. The most lit podcast in the arts community.
Oh shit.
Because y'all are shit. No, I'm joking. Yeah, we're gonna do the arts community today, or I was gonna say the community, but that's kind of
We usually do locations, but
we're just switching it up today. Again, today's our most lit podcast to date, episode 11. Since we missed 10 last week, because I didn't know that last week was episode 10.
Well, we're gonna say that's episode 9.5, and this is episode 10. 11.
10, 11.
Yeah.
So this is 11?
This is the 11th episode.
This is the 11th
That's
episode.
great.
We were supposed to make 10 like a good episode, a special episode, and we fucking didn't even realize it was 10. Now we're like, okay, well, this is
Yeah,
gonna be
exactly.
Now
10.
it's super special. That's like
Exactly.
the most special.
It's
it could
super
be.
special.
Yeah.
We have a few people in the basement.
We do.
That we're going to be talking to and going over some ideas with today. We have a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. I'm excited. No lost craft today because I don't
No,
know
I
what
got
the
one.
fuck. Nah. That was in the back.
Should we restart?
No, no.
I got
Lost
one, I
craft
got
is
one.
disappointing me at the moment, and I'm not going to hold it back.
Shit.
Quick, switch them.
Don't kill me.
I'm drinking neutral.
It's LCBO's fault, not their fault.
No, turn
Hey,
it. Turn it.
but
Leave it
you
at
gotta
the
have-
front.
you
Leave
gotta
it at the
figure
front,
out how
but
you're
turn
gonna
it
get
so
more
you can
beers.
only see
Yeah,
the
that's
label
facts.
at the
Into your
back,
spot,
like
like-
the nutrition label,
like
just so
this?
you can't barely. Yeah,
There.
that's
It
even
blends
worse.
in with neutral.
That's even
good.
worse.
Yeah.
Drinking
What the hell are you drinking?
a Grolsch.
That is
A
massive.
Grolsch.
We're sipping on some Grolsch.
Never had Grolsch.
1.5 liters. We're trying to get it today. You know what I mean? We're just in here. We're out here in the streets, man. We're just
The
trying to
official
get it.
beer of Tiff.
Oh, true.
Is it?
Shout
Grolsch
out
is?
Tiff, you know.
Shout out Tiff.
Yes. Shout out Tiff.
Is it like a wow? It's fancy.
Okay, and you guys are also probably wondering who the fuck this is. So feel free to introduce yourself. We don't do introductions here. You do it.
Oh shit.
That way, it's almost like an interview. Like you gotta,
Okay, you want me to do that right now?
like, who are you? Tell us why you're here.
I feel like I'm
Why-
in church for the first time.
Why Toys R Us?
Why Toys R Us? I don't know, man. Never went to Toys R Us.
Really?
But yeah, I never went there as a kid.
Damn.
Damn.
But
That's rough.
I'm kind. Is that rough? I
No
don't know if
childhood.
that's
You,
I don't know if
you
it's
never
rough.
you never went into
That's
Toys
not
R
a
Us.
childhood. It's
Come on, every
smart.
child goes into Toys R Us.
I was
looking
never
through
in
the
Toys R
aisles
Us
and, like,
that
shit.
much.
Even
No,
though
man, I was like outside running around, like
was outside,
building
man.
forts and
It's
like,
kind of like you go there and like you know you're not getting anything anyway. Like,
that's what I'm
your
saying.
parents aren't buying
like, you
you
go
shit.
in there and you're like,
Yeah.
I want
Every
this
time
and
I
this,
walk,
but your
every
parents
time
are
I
like,
walked
no,
in
you're
there,
not
I'm
getting
like,
that.
I hope something's on sale. I know nothing's not
Yeah.
gonna be on sale, so
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything.
it's all just
Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah.
I used to go for the Lego.
crazy.
I want to see the Lego.
But yeah, I go by Niina Rosa, and that would be my introduction, I suppose. I'm from here. Like I grew up kind of in the country, like in the rural area of Ontario. But my dad did some work in the city, so I was kind of like in and out. So, and then I've been around. Like I kind of lived around some different places. Lived in Tobago for 2 years when I was younger.
Say word.
In Speyside, if anybody knows Speyside. But I lived there, and then I did some different traveling, like a couple exchanges here and there. And now I've been in Toronto for like fucking 9 years ish now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick, man.
So that's it at this point. Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that about you. That you have been all over the place.
So,
kind
yeah.
of. If you-
Yeah.
You lived in a few different places. Nice.
Yeah.
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 What's that like?
It definitely. I mean, the Tobago thing specifically.
Yeah.
I mean, just moving around in general, because like I moved around a lot as a kid too. Like I grew up on a farm, and then I kind of like lived in a couple different smaller towns. Let me get this beer.
Yeah, it's
Wet
way,
my,
it's way lower down there.
Palette.
Got it.
Oops. All right. I'm just gonna hold on to it. But yeah, man, it's interesting moving around a lot. I think it's good for the artistic inspiration.
Yeah, for sure. Tommy's moved around a bit too in his past and stuff like that too. So it's good. I
word.
swear, the more people I run into, the more people I find out that have actually moved around.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm just meeting people that are just
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah.
you know
A
what
part
I
of
mean?
me wishes I actually lived in other areas too. I think, Yeah, you just grow. No, you wouldn't
Yeah,
recommend
no,
it.
you do, man. Like Tobago, living in Tobago changed my life, and like I was mad young when I lived there.
You probably
And,
don't
like,
fuck with it when you're younger.
I did. Like I did. Like I had a great time living there, even though it was very, very difficult for me. Like we were living in Speyside, like, you know, just in the town. My mom was teaching at the school, and you know, so I was just there. I was just a kid there, and like you learn a lot.
Yeah.
You know, you learn a fucking lot, in 2 years. Living in that community for 2 years and just really being a part of it, like, you know, that shaped me as a person for sure, and has given me a pretty crazy perspective that like not a lot of people get that young. You know, and the people who do often, I find, do have a wider perspective on things.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, because again, you've been seeing so many different, whether you've only gone to a couple places or not, you know what I mean? You get to see a different side of
Yeah, anytime in
world,
life you
culture.
can see a different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you take that in, and then you can think about it as you're going through your life, kind of, and you have more things to kind of reference, I guess, in different situations. Or whatever.
Do you, did you even say you make music? Did you say that? Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't remember.
I think so.
You might make
No,
music.
you didn't, yeah.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
what the fuck do you do?
Yeah, I make music. That's what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
For the past, like, moving in on 2 years ish now.
Yeah.
But like, music's always been a part of my life. But just over the past couple years, I've kind of been like rediscovering myself and like just kind of being more honest with myself about like what I really want to do and like what I think like I should be doing and like spending my time on.
Yeah.
how did you get into music? Like, when did you start? Very young, or?
Yeah, I started super young. I played piano when I was like 9 years old, and I did like recitals and all that shit, like classical music and stuff.
Right.
And my mom is like a super artist too. She's like an opera singer and a piano player.
Okay,
and-
so you grew up around that kind of creative,
Yeah.
just creative
Yeah.
people in your family, and
But I quit music super young. Like I played piano, and I think when I was a kid, I was like really concerned with a lot of my growing up was like, you know, you're just like always want to be cool. I was really concerned about that shit.
Right.
I think, you know, in retrospect. And so I quit piano, and because I wanted to play guitar, and then I wanted to play bass, and then I learned, I did drums for a bit, and then like,
Okay.
so I kind of just like did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all different things, and then I just kind of quit music altogether. I think I just didn't do it. Like when I was in high school, and when I got to high school, I just stopped doing music.
Do you know why? Or
I don't know
just
why.
kinda-
I don't know why. Just kind of like looking back, I'm like, it's crazy that I didn't. But I went down the film path.
Okay.
At that point, I kind of film and photography. I don't know. I think maybe I thought I couldn't do music, and so I just convinced myself I should just do
True.
film.
True. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you lose inspiration and stuff. And you see something new and you want to do that.
Yeah, I don't even know if I ever had any inspiration for music when I was younger. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah,
it's probably-
I don't think I was inspired like
Okay.
as being able to see like what the possibilities were.
You must have had some, because you did learn those, unless you're being forced to play piano. Like a
Not
lot of parents
forced,
make
but
their
you know,
kids
like
do.
you're a kid, and it's like you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like I'll go to soccer practice. I'll kind of go. You kind of
I
just
feel
you're
you.
like
Yeah.
wandering around as a
You're
kid.
just trying
Yeah.
to figure it out.
That makes
Yeah.
sense, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
even I, at a time, I thought I wanted to be like a cartoonist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that was my dream.
Yeah.
And then when I started focusing more on my drawing and stuff like that, I started noticing like, fuck, I don't want to do this. anymore. Like in high school, that's again when I went to DMCI and shit like that.
Yeah.
That's when I fell out of love with fucking drawing, and then
Yeah.
I got into.
I
film,
actually thought
photography.
I wanted to be an illustrator for a while
Yeah.
too. Actually, I wanted to be a concept artist, like for video games.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's sick. That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a cartoonist, and then I was like, and then I got into like anime and stuff like that. So then I was like, yo, I want to just make sure that if I do this and I can make a living out of this, this is me saying this when I was a fucking kid. I'm like, I want to be like one of the most respected like black dudes in the Japan culture and shit like that.
Yeah.
like that was my goal.
Right.
And then I got to high school, I was like, yeah, fuck that.
Just found out it's-
People were so inspired. I was like so young. We were like,
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh, wow.
amazing. You want to be accepted by this culture? Da da da. I got to high school. I'm like, yeah, I'm
You
bored.
just
Like,
gave up.
It's
Yeah.
funny because I think sometimes as people, as just human beings, we like make up these stories or something that we
Yeah.
think people want to hear or some shit.
Yeah, I feel
and we
like-
just kind of say that shit because we think we're supposed to.
and that's what happens, and then you take in fuck. Like,
Yeah,
this is real life, though. You know.
exactly.
Yeah, that's why I'm actually I'm like weirded out when people say like, yeah, when I was like 10, I was really passionate, like I knew I wanted to do this. I'm like, how did you know? How did you have
Yeah,
true.
the attention span and like
Yeah.
the drive as a kid to be doing that at that time? You know.
I'm one of those people that did though in a way, but I wasn't 100% sure. But there's something inside me that told me because I started making these little YouTube skit videos, early YouTube. When I think about it now, if I continued then, I
Yeah.
feel like I would have been a YouTube
That's what I mean.
star
Like
by
we
now.
all found those
No,
things
but that,
were,
I was
but,
on YouTube
but I
making
think what
shit
you're saying
like
is
08.
like some kid who's like picks up the guitar and just
Yeah.
never stops
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
shredding.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking shredding. Like I follow this bass player and he's like 8 years old and he's just like fucking boom.
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
just
And you're like, yo,
how the
this
fuck?
fucking, what
Yeah.
the fuck? And like that's what you're talking
Yeah,
about, I think.
exactly,
Like I don't
yeah.
get that either,
Yeah.
man. I don't know how that's possible. But also, you know, it's like you there's different paths in life.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like
for sure.
people who are doing that kind of stuff, like personally, like I love my childhood and now I draw a lot of my inspiration for my art
Yeah,
from that.
for sure.
And like if I didn't have that childhood doing what I was doing, just like being an actual kid,
Yeah.
I think I don't know, my life would be very different.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, I feel like people who weren't as like in touch with their childhood, they're like kind of, it's like, you know, it's hard to relate to them in
Yeah.
a way.
Because
you
it's
know?
so easy to just be like, yo, I wish, like, I
Yeah.
always, like, I'm like, yo, I should have just, or
I always
if
like,
only.
yeah,
like
you're just
now.
being a
I
kid,
wish
dude.
I'm like shit. Yo, I wish I went to basketball practice more often. Like,
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I'd be fucking playing basketball.
all
for a
that
living.
stuff.
You think you could
Get
be-
injured, get a nasty deal, like, and just sit.
Yeah. How could you make those decisions that young? You know, you just whatever. You're a kid, so you just
Yeah,
think-
man.
But yeah, so,
It's
you
hard
know,
to do
now I
that, yeah.
just, I found it again and
That's good.
I did all the film stuff and that ended up, that's been a real influence on me too because like I do,
helps.
I know what's up for all that stuff and like I got no problem taking care of my visuals and like I have a really specific vision about everything. So it's
Yeah.
everything leading up has been helpful.
Yeah.
So, what was I gonna say? So, what was like the film stuff like for you when you got into that?
It was good. I made a couple documentary films.
Nice.
TIFF.
Did
the
you
whole
sorry?
thing.
Did you go to school and stuff like that or no?
Yeah. I went to university. I did like a double minor. I did like media studies and philosophy,
Nice.
and then you know I just
Well, not
made,
nice, but
made
nice.
films. Yeah. Well,
Nice to hear.
nice.
Yeah.
You did it. You did
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
And I did made some films after that.
Okay, sick.
Mostly documentary,
Okay, so you're a doc
and
guy.
a
Cool.
couple of narrative films, and then like a bunch of music videos, and a bunch of photography.
Nice.
Cool.
And then yeah, you're saying TIFF. So did you get something into TIFF or?
Yeah, TIFF and not me, but like my production company. We produced a film last year, and it went to Sundance. And
Nice.
like, yeah,
Are you still dabbling in the filmmaking, or are you kind of?
not so much. Like I do freelance camera work here and there, but not really for anything creative. Like mostly just corporate stuff. Like so I can get paid.
feel that.
And
Better,
That pays the bills.
yeah, it pays actual money, and so I just do that camera work here and there. But then like pretty much all my time is now just focused on like practicing instruments and practicing and just working on music and collaborating with people, trying to collaborate with people and stuff,
Yeah.
and work on other people's music too. Like I've been working on.
So you produce as well.
Yeah. Well, I produce music. Like I'm working with a couple people right now. Like even this, it's funny. I don't actually know her artist name, but this girl in Atlanta, this great singer. I produced a track for her, and she's got an EP coming out. And I'm working with this other guy out on the West Coast, and he's like a singer like vibe. So I do some producing here and there, and then I'm also working with a couple people in the city just on their projects, just as like a co-writer and kind of just like being there.
Nice.
How was that transition coming back into music?
It was hard, man. Like I was like I wanted to go about it in a really specific way, and so I just started taking piano lessons again, and like mostly just worked on piano for the first like 6 months just to get like my basic fundamentals and like relearn all my theory. Start reading music again. And I chose to go that route, and so like I'm still very much like in the early stages of just learning and figuring things out. But yeah, I chose to go that route, and so I kind of like started with piano and just like really worked on that so that I could at least play keys a little.
Yeah.
Then I worked on my voice quite a bit, and I'm still just working on my voice and piano now, just simultaneously as much as possible.
Like that's what I was gonna ask you because.
But it was like at the beginning, it was like, yo, I obviously realized like for like the first couple years, it's gonna be mad difficult figuring this shit out, and like
Exactly.
there's gonna be a lot of, and there was a lot of difficulty for me, and still is all the time learning new stuff and just practicing and just coming to grips with all that. But like I'm at a place now where I love it so much, and I can't stop. So that's a good sign.
So right now, I guess you're just going to. Is music something that you feel like right now, like you're just gonna focus on?
Yeah.
Kind of go on the ride with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Basically, right now, that's aside from like stuff here and there to make money, and like I do a few different things for that. Mostly freelance stuff, but like it's got like 90% of my focus. Yeah, I have a couple other side projects like some grant stuff like for a lecture series that I'm going to put on. Not that I'm doing, but I'm just kind of organizing it. And then I do have another feature documentary planned.
Feature.
But that's going to be in like a couple years. Like,
yeah.
That won't be, that's something that I'll probably work on for the next like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just getting grant money for it. But like that music is like all that I'm really focused on.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So new music that's coming out. Like even just like tell us, not even what I say new music, but like who are some of the people that you fuck with? Like who are you listening to?
Who am I listening to? Definitely my friend's music. He's like a local artist, Justin Nozuka.
Okay.
I listen to his stuff a lot, and like so that music, obviously local Toronto guy. I love his stuff, and like I think hopefully someone finds his music from me saying it there.
Yeah.
That stuff, and a lot of Toronto stuff right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like a lot of Toronto stuff. Bad, and like all those vibes and all that stuff, and just also like D'Angelo, and I just listening to R&B pretty much right now, and Smino. I'm really into Smino, heavy. Like I've been listening to Noir for the past, like off and on for the past couple weeks. And also the Black Swan, and like just his whole discography.
Yes.
Like been really getting into him as an artist.
I was gonna say, like I've noticed that a lot of people really into that D'Angelo, yo. I never took that in until recently.
Voodoo.
Still.
And also Brown Sugar, straight up.
Yeah.
Shit Damn Motherfucker is like one of the best songs ever. And that's on Brown Sugar.
I remember like
That's a vibe. There's actually an amazing live performance of it on
I remember
YouTube.
back in the day, yo. Shit, when that Untitled video dropped, I was so uncomfortable with that shit. But as I got older, I'm like, yo, this track.
He didn't like Untitled video, D'Angelo.
Yeah.
I know.
No?
Yeah, I heard that
I
too.
mean, realistically, that's probably what led to his downward spiral.
and that's what
but-
led to the downward spiral.
Yeah.
But that shit was hard at the end.
Honestly
of the day.
though, that record is one of the craziest
One of the
things of all
craziest
time.
records ever.
I love that album so much.
Great.
That album changed my life.
It's wild. It's wild what just like just growing up and seeing so much different stuff, because like sometimes I take in like just growing up like how much different media or just different things I was just listening to and not ever noticing how much it would influence me in the future. You know what I mean?
Totally, man. And yo, gospel. I've been listening to a lot of gospel stuff for the past like
Oh, really?
year or
Gospel
so.
comes
Yeah,
hard.
like, and I actually went down to New York last January to meet up with this friend of mine. And that was kind of like more in the beginning of like where I was exploring music. But he's plays keys at some churches in like Brooklyn and Queens and Long Island. And I went down and spent like some time with him there, and like went to his churches and like watched him play and like just talked about music with him, and like he was talking about a lot of gospel stuff and different things, and so like yeah, definitely I've been listening to a lot of gospel and super influenced by like that whole style of music and like the way they play piano and stuff.
I just gotta ask you then.
Obviously, it's great.
Did you like Kanye's new album then? If you're into that,
Honestly, like Kanye's definitely he's probably one of my top 3 artists of all time,
For
like
sure.
out of anyone, like
Yeah.
cross-disciplinary.
yep.
So I'll just say that I'm a big fan, and I always have been. But I didn't really like this album. Like, but then again, sometimes it takes me a while to get into new stuff from artists who I like.
I'm the
so
same way. Yep.
I don't know too much, but when I did listen to it, I was just like, like I don't know. I was kind of hoping for a bit more. I was hoping for something like like a live service Sunday or something. Like I wanted more of that type of shit, like real like musical records.
The actual gospel, because like
Exactly.
that was,
Yeah.
like,
To me, it just
actual
felt like
gospel,
beats and shit, and I was
Yeah.
like, this is cool, but like it just kind of sounds like to me like beats.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, it wasn't the full.
that album was kind of
I didn't feel like I was
Again.
in the church.
no.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I wanted to be in the
The
church.
album was disorganized. Like
I just wanted to be in the church. Like that's it. Like I just wanted to feel that energy personally.
yeah.
And I didn't get that from the album for the most part. Like I liked the beginning of it, but
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough.
Sick.
Cool.
What did you say, Zach? Sorry.
Yeah, you distracted us.
What are we looking at on top?
I was gonna say you mentioned some artists, but who you're inspired by truly with your music? Your sound's very different than I think a lot of stuff that I've heard, especially in Toronto. Haven't heard anything kind of like that. Like
Which is, I was gonna say, which is good.
no, that's definitely good.
Because,
Nothing negative about
so
that
many
at all.
people sound the same. So when like I remember the first time that we got to hear your stuff, I was like, oh, okay, like this is pretty sick. Like this is pretty different. Like I
Yeah.
haven't heard vibes
Yeah.
like this really. So it's nice to again hear something that's new.
yeah.
So congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, because a lot of people just fall into trying to sound the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is very easy for an
Yeah.
artist to do right off the bat when they don't know haven't figured out themselves.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
for me, like I really, I guess, know what I want to express. At least
Yeah.
I have some very specific stuff that I'm trying to say.
Right.
And I guess I just maybe do a good job of translating that into, because I just make decisions based off of intuitive feeling and like I choose my chords and stuff very carefully. Like I choose everything carefully, and I have, like you draw influence from different things, but when you kind of have that end goal in mind where you're like, I want to create a certain vibe, and you have the idea in your head, and you can make decisions based on that outcome, then you're just trying to make something just to make it, and you're not trying to actually really sound like anybody else because you have something specific you want to say. And also, like, I'm really particular about my lyrics too, and so like you got to make the music to match the idea kind of. So I guess that's the best way I could explain it. I don't know.
What would you say is like if you could choose any type of words for your sound, what are they?
Anything to do with like space, like galactic, dimensional,
Okay.
anything like that, ambient, just vibes. Yeah.
Vibes.
Existential stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to I see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
trying to talk about what everybody else is talking about, because like when I listen to a lot of lyrics, and this is not to in any way put down anything. I'm not like, I love every type of music straight up. But like with lyrics, I do find that a lot of stuff starts to sound very, very familiar. And sometimes I ask myself, like, what are people trying to actually say with their music? Like, what are people actually trying to say? What are we trying to say for real? Because it's got to be more than just like bop, 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 vibe, vibe, vibe all the time. Like,
Yeah.
we have to think about what we're saying and be intentional, I think, as artists. And so that's what I try to do with creating. But like, I think that's all. And everybody has the option to do that, because you just have to look at yourself and just like express yourself as honestly as you possibly can. That's the beauty of being an artist. That's what I wish that's what every artist would do. Just express themselves like so honestly. Because when you do that, that's where the best stuff comes from, I think.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, just relate stuff to your actual life and just what's important to you and put that in
just
your music.
Express yourself.
That
pour
seems
your
like
heart out.
it's genuine, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think people are like kind of they're like scared of who they are, so they try
That
to
too. Pretend
they
to be
pretend something
someone
else on
that
it, yeah.
maybe
And then also there's like money that motivates them to do it too, which is
right,
not the best.
right. Everyone's trying to be.
Yeah.
You gotta let that bag go.
Yeah,
gotta-
of course, but it doesn't need to come at a sacrifice for, especially when you're
Character.
Yeah.
you're like taking away opportunities from people who are actually trying to say something meaningful,
Yeah.
And there's a time and a place, right? Like
Yeah.
there's obviously room for everything,
Yeah.
of course. Like, but yeah, it's nice to try and find a balance or
Yeah,
something.
exactly, yeah.
And only the artists can really do that,
It's true.
What type of stuff do you have coming out soon?
Well, I got some stuff coming out with some people who I've been working with that I'm really, really excited about. Like, and it's not my stuff, but like I wrote some songs with some people, and like we're tracking some stuff on them coming up soon in like early December. Strings and drums and like live bass and a bunch of shit. So that I won't say who it is or anything because it's just not out yet and all that. But I'm really excited about those songs. Like they are fucking classic shit, and I think people are really, really gonna like them. And then I have a few songs coming out too. I think I'm over the next like month I'll probably release 3 songs, and I just put a couple out, and then I've got one that I'm kind of just finishing up now, and I'll probably put that out in January. That's called Moon.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what we like to hear when people are putting out stuff.
Yeah, just put out your stuff.
And I'm working on songs right now.
How many times
too.
have we said that?
Like I was working on a song just before I came over here. I was working on music, practicing piano all day, and then I started a new song just before I left to come here.
Okay, sick. So that's what I was gonna ask you now too. So like, what's it like?
And by the way, I love that song, Home.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That song's great.
That song's great.
That's such a great vibe.
If you haven't heard Home yet, please check it out.
Yeah, you gotta
Rhythm
check
and
that
Boost
out.
2 by 750.
When I heard that song, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah,
I was blown away.
That's what we make here in this basement.
It was really, I was
Yeah,
just like, wow, this is really beautiful.
Thank
really
you.
good.
Appreciate
Really
that, yeah. But yeah, like, what is it like for you now? So you're doing the whole music thing. What's it like for you to try and get people's attention when you are dropping the music, or, you know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, as much as we try our best not to care about followers, likes, plays, blah blah blah, you need that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To actually be able to do this.
Facts, yes.
You know what I mean?
I think you're right. I think at this point it's a cliche. I'm a fan of Gary Vee, obviously, who isn't. But I really, I take a lot of stuff that he says to heart.
Yeah.
And I try to balance it with all the other stuff.
It's
that
a lot
I
of
learn,
balance. Like,
you know?
Yeah.
But like, I try to just really, these days, I'm really trying to just be like, yo, it's got to just be about the music. I got to get better at this. I got to get better at that. I got to learn this. I got to learn that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I have to work on and practice to get better at and to better myself as an artist and as a musician. And that's been really hard work so far, and it's not easy. And so I'm just trying to be really super focused on that. And then I've kind of just been trying to like have fun with my social media. Like, I just post stuff that I think looks nice. I try to make good art and share stuff that I feel like is artistic, and like I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned about it. I'm trying to just have fun with it, and like that's, you know, I just want to get better at making music. And
Yeah, that's fine.
That's good. Because I'm in the boat too, where it's just.
But we all go through that, obviously.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and I get it. Like
those feelings, man.
it's hard, like, because when you're not getting the attention,
Of course.
that you feel like you should be getting, but at the same time you don't know what else you can really do, because you're just like, I've hit up this many people,
Not
I've reached
getting
out to
attention.
this many whatever websites or whatever.
But
they're not hitting me back,
that's
so.
why I'm like, yo, I feel all that so hard too, though.
man.
Like, it's real, but I really feel like I am really trying to just be like, yo, I'm just gonna be the best that I can be, and like I'm gonna work really hard.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna make some fucking fire. You better believe it. But like, I don't know when that's gonna happen. Like, I'll never be satisfied. That's just not the type of person I am. And so like, I think, but like, that's the mentality that I'm really trying to just adopt. I'm trying to learn how to think like that, because like, that's the only way I could see that I'll be able to like survive as an artist, you know, because you have to be so mentally resilient, like in so many ways.
Yeah, with a lot of it is simply just a balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And putting it on yourself. Like, I'm just trying to work on myself, and that's it. Like, that's, you know,
That's
That's all.
That's what you should
that's
do.
all you can do.
For
and,
sure.
and, you know, that should be the only
Just
focus.
keep creating. Just keep creating and be
Exactly.
patient. And be patient. Yeah,
Exactly. That's it. Yeah.
honestly.
We want to just continue with you for a little bit because you kind of brought it up when you were speaking earlier, and it was a question that I was going to ask everybody throughout the little interviews that we were going to be having today. So, how do you feel? It's kind of like two things, but I'll kind of push it into one. So the first sentence here is kind of confusing, but are you what you need to be when you need to be it? So, do you?
I get it.
Do you? Yeah. So basically, is it important for you to like master everything? You know what I mean?
Are you what you need to be when you need to be it?
Exactly, yeah.
Like, are you talking professional, personal?
I'm talking about everything.
Emotional, all of life?
All of life.
Oh,
That's
shit.
like Zen mastery.
Yeah, I know.
Damn, every facet of life? Holy shit. I mean, yeah, that's what we're all working towards, I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, but is it important to you to also master your weaknesses?
Weaknesses. What do you mean by that? I guess like
Recognizing that you may be weak at something and understanding.
Yes.
So, for example, some people, when it comes to
Yeah.
music, for example,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've I know
we
what
could
you're saying.
say somebody like Summer Walker, for example. We don't want to talk about her too much, but we most likely will be. But Summer Walker, for example, she's cool with the music, but the business aspect or the public side of stuff, which
You mean
is
touring or
touring and interviews
Just
and
not very-
live
She's not
performances.
media trained very well. She's not
Do you?
No,
yeah.
for-
I don't want to get into her though. That's the thing. So just
Okay,
chill.
okay.
I don't want to get into her too
Well,
much.
I'll just say one thing on that.
Yeah.
Not on even on Summer Walker. First of all, I don't believe in media training. Second of all, artists have zero responsibility to anyone. Third of all, I don't think she has to do fuck all. I think if she wants to sit around and make music and post on Instagram
Yeah.
and not tour and not do interviews, I think she should do that.
That's totally fine, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
100%.
I agree.
100%.
I agree with that. Now, for the people that do see that as a weakness, though, so let's say, for example, like me personally,
But those
I
people
noticed.
don't know shit.
But now this is what I want to get into. This is the part because
That's the honest
what's-
truth.
What's important though is
Because they're not being empathetic. You gotta
For her?
gotta think. Of course, because if you're gonna say
But
that's a
the
weakness,
internet. You know what I mean? Like that's the internet. I'm not saying that it's a weakness.
You gotta
for her. It's a-
empathize with people.
But the perception that people are getting from her is that it is a weakness. I don't agree because I agree with what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
all she really wants to do is just fucking make music
an
and
artist,
put the shit
man.
out anyways and just chill.
She's an artist.
which I completely agree with, and I wish it could be
Yeah,
like that for
she's
a
a
lot of
gifted
people.
artist.
And only so many people can do that. But again, focusing more on the
we're
question.
lucky enough to have her music.
I
We're
don't wanna talk
lucky
about
enough to
Summer.
even have her.
I don't even want to talk about Summer.
We're not mentioning
I don't wanna
Summer
talk about
Walker.
Summer. But just I just want to focus on more of the importance of balancing.
Yeah. I think
when
it's
it comes
very
to
important to
everything.
try
Yeah.
and analyze, obviously, to look at yourself and do the best that you can to, improve where you think you want to and in a reasonable way, I guess. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have been doing that, or you had to go through that process?
Oh, yeah.
When getting back into the music, because you were talking about how you had to go through. Okay, I have to kind of go through my theory again, and
That
this
shit,
and that.
that's not shit compared to what I've already been through in life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I like, I've been thinking about this stuff since a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so I'm at a point now where I'm implementing for sure. For the past 3-4 years, I would say. I've been really trying to implement that stuff that I already know. Like, you know how to you know what you got to do.
Yeah.
Time to do it.
Yeah.
Time to do it.
I feel you. Okay, good.
Yeah.
That was my main question. Because I feel like a lot of the time people don't take the second to actually look back at themselves, you know what I mean? And see, okay,
Yeah.
I focus so much on my strengths, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that because that's where they're
I
comfortable.
do not focus on myself. I got to start doing that because that can be a problem also.
Exactly.
Because if you only focus on your weaknesses and what you're not doing great at, you have to also celebrate your wins, even the
Exactly.
smallest ones.
Okay, good.
So it's a balance, right? Like it can't always just be one way or the other. Like I think there definitely needs to be a balance between both, and like you just have to want to improve. I think, and like I think that's really what it comes.
That's where
down
it comes
to.
down to, just your want to do whatever you are.
Yeah, and trying as much as, at least for me, trying as much as I can to really only just do it for myself. Like that's like, I think for me, that's kind of the headspace that I want to be in. That seems healthy.
Yeah, because like I was just saying, like I feel like a lot of people don't focus on their weaknesses as much because they're so comfortable in what they're good at a lot of the time, or like you're saying, a lot of people do focus too much on their weaknesses that they just kind of just.
It gets really hard. It gets really difficult. It starts,
and it's for I wouldn't say for no reason, but it's like you're putting too much pressure on
Exactly.
yourself when
Exactly.
there are so many other good things that you are, doing right now.
exactly.
As well.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, sick. Any comments on that from you guys at all? Do you, Ian, feel like, you are also like not just mastering the things that you are good at, but also trying to pick up in some of your weaknesses?
I don't focus on my weaknesses too much, to be honest. Like, I understand some of my weaknesses. I think my approach, I'm more business mind. I'm not an artist per se. I am a filmmaker, but I'm not like a musician.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way.
I'm more business oriented. So when it comes to my weaknesses, I just find someone who can do my weakness.
Yeah.
And I bring them into my circle and I work with them. So I'm not the best writer. So I'd like to ideally get someone who's better at writing to help work with me and my brand and stuff like that. So that's kind of my approach. So I recognize my weakness, but I find people who can help me.
And that's actually a good thing that
yeah.
you have brought up too. It's also recognizing, hey, somebody might be better than me at this that could handle this. And I feel like that's what a lot of people do when it comes to the business approaching side of stuff, because I've thought about that too. I'm like, this is how like even a lot of this has even started. It's like we're all like, okay, well, we need one more person to do something like this, or we need a shooter, or we need somebody that could hold the space to do the fucking podcast or whatever. So you go out and you figure it out and you get somebody to do it. So
I don't have all the skills that us four have. So we all have our skill, like our strengths, weaknesses. We put them all together, and that's how
it works out.
It's working out right now. So that's kind of
good. So also building a good team.
Yeah.
That can complement your strengths and your weaknesses is also very important.
And to help you improve as well.
And to help you improve.
To support.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Anything with you, Kevin?
I think everything's been said already. Finding a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it started for me. I think like with music, it started fun. So it was kind of thing where you're just doing it, and then when you make that transition into realizing you want to do it as a full-time thing, I got into that headspace of like focusing on the weaknesses too much. So it's about finding that balance between like celebrating the wins and knowing what you have to work on. Yeah.
Okay, so those are my main questions.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I'm going to be asking everybody so that you think about it.
Cool.
It's a good question.
Yeah, good question for sure. Good discussion.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's good to
No, for real, thank
it's good
you.
to even just know what type of, if you're a person who focuses too much on what they're good at, or if they're the person who's focusing too much on
and I'll just say my last little bit on this. It's like,
super important.
even with this topic, but just like life overall, it's just like a lot of things aren't black and white. You know what I mean? Most of the shit's gray. You know what I mean? So, and in that gray area, I feel like that's where you're supposed to find balance. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you're supposed to try to figure out, based on any type of scenario that you are in, whether or not to use the black or the white. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
And also to just take things seriously.
Yeah. And take it, exactly. Take stuff seriously.
Take things seriously. Be serious about stuff.
Take yourself serious.
Yeah.
And do what you have to do to make sure that you are able to be the best person that you can be, whether it be in your field or just overall. You know what I mean?
Emotionally, whatever. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I hope people are taking this home, you know what I mean?
Is there a button for this?
Really, really thinking about it. And, living what you preach. That's another thing people don't do a lot.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, it is hard. A lot of people could talk a lot of shit, you know what I mean? But it's about actually doing it a lot of the time.
Yeah. And that'll show, I guess.
Yeah. You're right.
In the end.
It will show at the end.
Yeah.
That's it for this one.
That's great.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you guys so much.
We appreciate you stopping by. Again, nice meeting you for the first time.
Oh,
we
great
have a track.
seeing you.
We have a track out.
Yeah.
We're doing boost.
Yeah,
Listen to that
Check
home.
that shit out. Home.
No,
Go
but
home.
honor to be here. Seriously, straight up, for real.
Thanks, yo. Thanks for coming
thank
through.
you.
We appreciate it. We'll talk after, obviously, and we'll just figure some other shit out.
Talk off the pod.
Yeah, man, thanks for coming through. We really appreciate you stopping by.
How's that? What's that called?
The Grolsch.
The Grolsch. How's a Grolsch?
I've been lacking.
Oh yeah,
so much talking.
Zach's
I'm doing a
almost
lot of
done.
talking.
Zach might as well just
So
chug
Zach's
that.
sitting there,
Yeah.
fucking.
Might as well
Look at
just-
Kevin, yo.
I knew I wasn't gonna finish.
You
this.
feeling kind of tipsy?
Yo, Kevin, I'm actually surprised still, yo. You're
Yeah.
meant to be in between. Like, I thought you'd be in between. Like,
Yeah, I'm
I thought I had
surprised.
the least done.
Sipping. It is a Wednesday.
we should do that, yo. We should have a
But-
chug.
But yeah, everyone in the room's gone. It's kind of just us four now.
Yeah,
But,
thanks to the guests. We had Tommy and Justin from because I was gonna say Justin from East
York's finest.
but I'm like, wait, that makes no sense.
You guys know him. He was on episode 5.
I think.
Yeah.
We had Tommy Banks from R&B Radar here, and also Justin, East York's Finest, here as well. They were gonna be on, but just time. Other interviews were good. They had to go. They have lives. So, anyways, thank you for everybody that came by today for our special episode 10, 11
It was a very good episode.
celebration. Yeah, very solid episode. I feel like we went over a nice amount of topics with the people that we talked to. We got to learn more about just like, you know,
Both of those guys, yeah.
both of those guys that we had in. So thanks again, Niina and Ashton, for stopping by. Because we never officially met them yet, but we've been talking for months.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it was cool to finally meet everybody today.
I think an interesting thing that's coming with the more guests that we get is like how we talk about the Toronto arts community and like how we realize that it's like it's always been cliquey, but then people we're bringing in they acknowledge the same things.
They have the
and
same opinions.
They're doing things the same way that everything that we do is fueled by like trying to get out of that cliquey mentality,
exactly.
and like people around the city are doing the same. I think because we finally had enough time to separate it and be like, okay, yeah, this is what used to work. You had just OVO, and then you had like the little groups that were coming up, but then now finally we got to the point where we realized like, okay, we can calm down. Like we have enough talent here to do it on our own, you know?
We can do this.
Yeah. We don't have to like look to other people now because people are looking inward, so we can actually like try to help each other out now.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that.
It's good to see
Yeah.
these people exist.
Yeah.
Like-minded individuals.
Like-minded individuals.
And, you know, at the end of the day, like, we're not going to take credit for it, but when you see all the podcasts that we're going to be doing, I'm sure if somebody else wants to say that it was all us, you know,
Yeah. You know,
yeah. Maybe I'll make a couple burner accounts and say it. I don't know.
couple burners.
We started all this. I don't know. Whatever.
This is the Lost and
No, I
Talks
feel like
podcast. The
I
most
feel like
lit.
I know it was good hearing from Ashton even saying like, yeah, he's met some other people that are just down, you know,
Yeah.
so just
Yeah.
work and collaborate. So that's cool to see. You know what I mean? So you know the movement is happening. Not everybody, but people in the city are starting to understand. You know, there's a new wave coming through. And we need to start working together to
Yeah,
make sure that
it's not a
all get
competition,
towards
you
it.
know? Like,
Exactly.
No.
somebody else's up it's just going to help you if you figure out how,
Exactly.
you know?
Exactly. Figure out what your weaknesses are. Somebody, you know, might be able to
Yeah.
help you out and, you know, make sure that you look even better now.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, like, why would you want to come up by yourself and all your mans are struggling?
That's what I've always
I
said.
never, I don't,
Like,
I
I've
never
always-
get that, you know?
I'm down to be rich, but I can't be the only man
Yeah.
that's rich.
You gotta
Yeah.
share the wealth. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
need everybody to be rich so that we can all buy up the whole block. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like,
That's why, like, they
It's
criticize
crazy.
like basketball players when they they go broke because they spent all their money on their whole neighborhood and their
Exactly.
entourage and stuff. But it's like they weren't trying to just spend. You know, first of all, it wasn't just their dream. You know, like
it was everybody's dream.
Yeah.
You know? It was their parents' dream,
Yeah.
their friends' dream.
it was probably like wherever community they came from. It was that whole community's dream. You know, like.
they're like, yeah, he's going to be a ball player.
Yeah.
we're waiting for him to.
So
yeah.
that whole time when they were growing up all at the same level, you know, it wasn't like that one person who made it was like, yeah, you know, once I'm eating, that's it. Like, no, it's like everybody's eating, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how we are, yo.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to eat, yo. Every man's
Even the
gonna
people who don't deserve it, the ones who
Yeah.
aren't putting in work right now, I
eat.
know
Man's
that.
aren't, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you.
It might get-
I seen you.
I see you.
Man's that aren't putting in work, but you're going to eat. Don't worry.
It might
yo.
swing you some. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm not going to do it intentionally, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Nah. Yeah.
But whatever, yo. You'll get to eat a little bit too. You'll know what it's like, and then maybe one day you'll get jealous of me and kill me. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
Like,
Chill.
that's what happens, though. You know,
Yeah.
because again, like a lot of the time, your
Shit,
biggest haters
bro.
are the mans that
Kind of what happened to
were
Nipsey.
right there,
That's kind of fucked.
bro. And it's not even even
That's-
him. It's not even just
That's
him.
just an example.
There's
though.
just so many people.
Yeah.
You know, soon
Jeez.
Ian's gonna have to strap to Kevin's Kevin's head, bro. Talking about what the fuck, yo.
As long as it's on the podcast.
Yeah, we got this right here, eh?
Yeah.
So when the man switches. But yeah, yo, thanks to those guys. Shouts out those guys. Shouts out Neutral. Shouts out
Nah.
Rules.
Chill. Lost Craft.
Lost Craft. Honestly, yo, come on.
No, I had to try something different to compare. Well, first I'm comparing beer.
No,
I'm
not
comparing
even
beer to
just-
vodka.
not
Well,
even-
first of all, there wasn't any Last Craft in
Thank
the
you.
LCBO, right?
And that's the problem.
Yeah,
I don't know if
see.
it's selling out, but since
It's
the last
either-
time we bought the Lost Craft at the LCBO that we went to, there hasn't been any more
There's
Lost
no
Craft.
Lost Craft there.
So I don't know what the issue is. I don't
They
know
haven't
if-
bought it anymore.
I don't know if it's LCBO. I don't know if it's
I mean,
Lost.
LCBO has been always trash on the stocking lately.
Really?
It's been a thing.
Damn.
It's been a thing.
They got all these
More in the
seasonal
summer,
staff
though,
right
but I
now,
don't know about now.
Not doing shit with them. Fuck them.
It's great.
Anyways, yeah. Oh,
What?
I figured it out.
Hurry.
I wanted our people, the listeners, to take home those questions as well that I asked.
Okay, yeah.
Or the question. Or the questions. So we'll say this. Let me say it with a clear voice, nice and deep, so it sounds kind of cool. I forgot the question.
You always sound cool. It's all good.
Are you what you need to be? Okay, no. I was too close to the mic. That might have been.
Yeah, chill.
Are you what you need to be when you need to be it? And also, just sometimes think about the importance in mastering your weaknesses. Those are the lessons of the day. Take that home. Think about it. Meditate. Smoke. Drink. Hang out with friends. Or be alone. But just think about it.
Look up some OnlyFans.
Yeah.
OnlyFans, yeah.
Look up some OnlyFans. Get
Yeah.
the numbers on the
Support-
OnlyFans.
Some support, yeah.
Support your
Fuck,
coworker who
Support.
might have an OnlyFans.
I'm just trying to.
It's only $5. It's
support.
only $5 a month. Come on, man.
$5.
That's it, man.
I'm honestly saying
It's like a
if
Starbucks coffee.
If
Come
it's
on.
more than a $10 a month, I'm like, okay.
That's Netflix. You're
That's
like,
Netflix.
That's
I don't know.
that's Netflix,
You gotta
Disney
be
Plus.
really jumping on fire. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if I can support this.
you
for
gotta
more
be
than
putting up
$10.
thousands of hours of content for.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's what you're getting. That's what
That's
you're
what
getting.
you're getting from
I
Netflix.
don't
Yeah.
care who the fuck you think you are. Okay, because I'm getting Netflix and I'm getting lots of content.
Yeah. Even if they're slacking.
Even if they're slacking,
Yeah, they're still,
they're still putting out the stuff. Even if I don't want to see it, I got it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. Like, support your mans out there. Support everybody. Collaborate. Make sure you're bringing people together. Just keep the positive vibes going, man. That was a lesson for today.
Yeah.
I feel like we touched on a lot of important little things, and we got to learn a lot about different people. And that's why, this episode was destined to be special. You know? And that's why we are destined to be special. And this podcast, the most lit podcast in the art community. Thank you for listening. Good night.
Good night.